The worst wars in the world to date have left a trail of destruction and devastation that is almost unimaginable. From the trenches of World War I to the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in World War II, the human cost of these conflicts is staggering. The sheer scale of the violence and suffering that has been inflicted on innocent civilians is truly horrifying. The Vietnam War, which lasted from 1955 to 1975, was one of the most brutal and controversial conflicts in modern history. The United States' involvement in the war led to the deaths of over 58,000 American soldiers and millions of Vietnamese civilians. The use of chemical weapons such as Agent Orange and napalm caused untold suffering and long-term health problems for those exposed to them. The Rwandan genocide of 1994 saw the mass slaughter of an estimated 800,000 Tutsi and moderate Hutu people in just 100 days. The international community's failure to intervene and stop the genocide has been widely criticized, and the scars of this horrific event still run deep in Rwandan society today. The ongoing conflict in Syria, which began in 2011, has resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people and forced millions more to flee their homes as refugees. The use of chemical weapons, barrel bombs, and other indiscriminate attacks on civilian populations has led to widespread condemnation from the international community. The war in Yemen, which has been raging since 2015, has created one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. The Saudi-led coalition's bombing campaign has killed thousands of civilians and destroyed vital infrastructure, leaving millions of Yemenis on the brink of famine and disease. The Second Congo War, which lasted from 1998 to 2003, was one of the deadliest conflicts since World War II. It is estimated that over 5 million people lost their lives as a result of the fighting, disease, and starvation that ravaged the region. The war also saw widespread sexual violence and the use of child soldiers, leaving a legacy of trauma that continues to affect the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo to this day. The Holocaust, perpetrated by the Nazis during World War II, remains one of the most horrific acts of genocide in human history. 6 million Jews, along with millions of others deemed undesirable by the Nazi regime, were systematically murdered in concentration camps across Europe. The sheer scale of the atrocities committed during the Holocaust is almost beyond comprehension, and the scars left by this dark chapter in history continue to be felt by survivors and their descendants. War is a brutal and senseless act that brings untold suffering and destruction to those caught in its crossfire. The worst wars in the world to date serve as a stark reminder of the horrors that human beings are capable of inflicting on one another. It is up to all of us to work towards a more peaceful and just world, where conflicts can be resolved through dialogue and diplomacy rather than violence and bloodshed. Only then can we hope to prevent the atrocities of the past from being repeated in the future.